do with this?
It's time for a trip.
It's time for a trip. And like I also like got on probation for that felony so that I can actually legally leave the country. And that's I was on a 3-year.
You can't do that, yeah.
Yeah. So 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, I was able to leave the country.
That's when you decided to leave for
So that's when I was like, fuck it. Like, and my dad got sick, and so I was really scared that like it was like I haven't seen him in 23 years. If he dies, and I'll never forgive myself. You know.
Yeah.
I'll always be like, oh fuck, you know. I never at least saw him once, you know.
Yeah.
So I figured it was time to go home.
And so you went, and so tell us about your trip to Somalia. You already told me about, but like, you know, you can go into details. How did you even did you have contact with your parents back there, like your dad, like their family, like what?
Yeah. Somalis are very good at keeping in contact with each other. You know,
never cut off.
Not a cut off. You're always someone.
He'll just be in the village, like sending you WhatsApp messages, like.
Yeah, or he'll send someone that knows someone that knows someone that knows someone that I might know to send me the message.
Yeah,
because it's like we're very, you know, we're a very tribal community. So like the tribe is like very important still, and like so even if it wasn't talking to me, but I've been talking to my cousins or my uncles or like extended family,
and it would reach you.
It would reach me eventually. Maybe my cousin would see me on the street and be like, "Yo, call your dad."
That's how it goes. Yeah.
But you know, right around 2019, I really started talking to him a lot more. My Somali was getting better, so we were able to conversate a lot more.
I would assume he only knows Somali.
He only knows Somali.
Yeah.
So and really the conversation was always like, I need money. And I would like, $200.
That's how our families are back home. Just send me money, bro.
That's how it is.
Oh my god.
You know.
I'm going to Sudan next week. Don't remind me.
There's gonna be so many hands. Come on, you came from the US, you know you got money. Or you came from Europe, you know you got money.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And so I would send my dad here and there, and I was like, as I was talking, I was like, I think I'm gonna come visit. And I don't think he really believed it. I was like, in 3 months, I'm gonna leave the US. I will let you know, and like, I would just kind of and like, it really like that brought my family back to me in many ways as well, because like everybody in the family, even the ones in the US, were like, oh my god, Dad's going back home. That is fucking, you know, that's
awesome,
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome, because I think a lot of them thought that I was like a goner and like I didn't.
No hope.
No hope. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. You rekindled that.
Yeah. So like then I was able to like, you know, just a bunch of things. Like my aunt in France was like, I all of a sudden started talking to her and building a relationship with her. My other cousins, like, you know, my biggest sister, who's also like my cousin, but I call her sister because we grew up together. Like we got really close, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna give you my money. You're gonna send it to me when I get there, because like there's that informal like money sending system, and like, we have our own ways of getting money home.
Your own banking system.
Yeah, we do have.
Just basically just give someone who gives someone who gives someone.
We have like a bit. It's called that shit. It's it's an international bank.
Oh, right.
It's like,
you guys are better than Sudan in that case.
Yeah.
It's fucking, I mean, things are improving a lot now, but like it used to be, you basically have to know people who are like flying over to Sudan. You give them the money, they give them the money.
I give it to a guy in Minneapolis, and then he wire transfers it to the bank in Somalia.
Yeah, alright, you guys are good. You guys are better than us.
But I told her like I couldn't do it myself, so she did it for me, and like I went back home. I went to.
Tell us a bit about like what you guys did. Like where did they take you? What activities did you enjoy?
So my family, we were in a date so one night, and then we left, and then we went to we got in a van. We rented, so they have like, you know, buses that go from city to city. So we just it's like a small bus. We rented that. My cousin was there with them too. And we drove the next day to Budapest, which is about like an 8-hour drive. So pretty much the whole next day. And then we got to visit in France, where a bunch of my relatives live. So I was there for 2 nights, but it's a smaller city. But it's also kind of the same, you know. There's a bunch of buildings. There's no high rises, obviously, but there's, you know, and like there's no infrastructure. But there's a bunch of cars. There's no. I'm so mad at the motherfucking drivers, man. I was ready to box. Like, and the country.
People there do not obey.
No, they don't obey. But then also, like, where I'm from, pedestrian has the right of way. There is no such thing as pedestrian.
No one has the right of way except you, where we're from.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
So I definitely.
It's not about the right of way. It's about, do you want to get killed or do you want to just wait for the car to
Yeah.
move? Yeah, that's
I came with a little American arrogance. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean?
No, that shit. I still, like, here, I stop if I see a car, even like if I'm on the pedestrian line. And like I would always create this awkward situation where like they're waiting for me to cross and I'll be waiting for them to move. And they're just looking at me and I'm just looking at them like, I'm not used to cars giving me this respect.
You're like, oh, thank you.
Thank you. Like honestly, like every time, thank you. So nice. So great.
And so yeah, we got to we, you know, and I feel like Sudanese and Somalis are the same way. Like family is of importance.
Of course.
So I met all my little cousins. Like I have a really big family, and I think it's beautiful. Like I felt so alone for so long, but like yet there was all these people that showed me so much love, and they're like behind the depth, like blah, 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 like we ate, we chilled.
Yeah, it's very crazy when like people you never like have met in your life like just kind of love you because they're your family and that's
and
it's
like,
weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like, damn, I'm getting all this love and respect out of nowhere just because of my name. Thank you. Because my dad.
Yeah, I remember, and like my dad's family, like when I would visit Sudan, my dad's family is very big. I always feel bad because I wouldn't remember all of them.
Yeah, that's how I know.
They just. Like I would maybe remember my uncles, but like I'd never remember their kids because like each one, like my dad has 6 brothers and 3 sisters.
Yes.
And like they all have like 6, 7 kids. Like I don't. If you ask me how many cousins I have, I don't know. It's like,
exactly.
It's like so many, and so it's like I maybe remember like the ones that I hung out with the most. Barely, but like that's it. It's like, you know, you just, and even those, like I barely remember their names on like a few aspects of their, like you don't know them, but like still, these guys, they would hang out, they would do everything for you. You know, anything you ask them, you know, when you're visiting, they'll do like that respect and things that they'll
hold your hand.
They'll hold your hand. Exactly.
Literally.
That's how it goes. Yeah, literally and figuratively.
I was like, my brother was holding my hand, and I was like, so why do they hold hands here? He's like, how else would they know we're together? And I just started laughing and stuff. I'm like,
yeah, it's weird because
we can talk, we can like hang out, we can be sitting together the whole time. I'm sure they'll get the message.
Yeah. But that's the thing. This is something that's kind of like it's very un-Western. It's like in Saudi and Sudan, like in Arab, Muslim, and even African culture. Like when you're like hanging out with someone, you know, especially if it's just one person, like you'll be like fucking holding that guy's hand, like arm in arm, like to a Western audience, you guys might look gay, but but like for us, it's like no, this is like brotherly love. Like come on, bro. Like if I can, I'll show you around, bro. Like it's cool, bro. No homo, bro.
Yeah, no, it was really funny. But it's also like
it's endearing. Yeah, it's very
it's
nice.
very endearing. It's beautiful. Like I held my brother's hand. Like I slept in the same bed as my brother. Like it was beautiful.
I hate sleeping out because every time we go to my dad's village, they would make us sleep outside, and the mosquitoes would eat us alive. I don't know.
I had the best time. No, like I'm getting to that. We did that. So my family, my dad, like you said, is also from a very large family. He's the youngest of 4 brothers, and 3 sisters, 4 sisters. I don't know. See, it's a big family. But so we like part of my family is Western. Some live in the UK, some live in the United States, and some live in France. And then some live here that are like my adopted family, like not my given family, but my chosen family.
Yeah.
And so my dad, my brother, my sisters, they all live kind of in the traditional way. They live in the village. They live, they live the nomadic herding lifestyle where they,
How much livestock does your dad have?
have?
What's the big? Well, come on, let's see your weight of your
My dad has about 50 camels.
What? Wait, for real?
For real, yeah.
Wait, 50 camels?
Yeah.
Holy shit, bro! Your dad's loaded. What?
Yeah, no, and
That's
it's still
50
dating
camels?
before, yeah. I'm like, you don't know the economic value.
Bro, 50. Do you know like how rich this guy would be if he sold those in Saudi? Like this, you know how much one camel is worth in Saudi?
How much?
We're talking like millions of riyals. You know, like
How much is one riyal?
like 1 riyal is like a third of a dollar. Like that's good money. Like $300,000. That's one camel. Like your dad would literally be a millionaire if he sold this shit in Saudi. Like.
Well, that's why we're friends and we.
Are we talking about a business opportunity I'm feeling here?
It's a business opportunity, of course. Because I have the U.S. passport, so it's like
I think we can do this, you know?
I'm like, you speak Arabic. This is just a prelude to a business partnership. What are you talking about, bro? So yeah.
Anyways, but I wasn't expecting that, but alright.
Mad sheep.
Damn.
We have mad sheep. They only really have sheep and camels. And goats.
Yeah, but like that's the
They
stuff.
have
It's like
substantial
those are
amount of stuff.
like back in the day, like you know when they were developing, I guess the rules of Islamic law and like taxes and stuff, like there would be like taxes on sheep and camel. Like I don't know, like some people don't have cash back in those days. Like their wealth is camels and sheep and that's and they would tax them.
That's
Like
our culture.
you have to pay with a camel or like a certain meat or like certain dairy produce of that. Of
That's
your
our culture, and that's how my family
this is your
lives. It's
religion,
like my dad's, money or his bank account and his camels and sheep. Because like one camel died while I was there. Oh my God, you should have seen this.
Really?
I've never seen a grown man cry.
Holy shit, he cried over the camel?
Cried.
God damn.
And he gave a scolding to my little brother. Like I've never seen it. He didn't head up or anything, but man, he made him feel bad.
Wait, like was it your brother's fault that the camel died?
Well, it's his job to keep an eye on the camel. So like,
How do you know?
so there's a pregnant camel. So there's
Nafisa, I think there's a special
Somali
name.
word for it.
Yeah, in Arabic. Like there's like oh my god, I remember like reading. There's a whole fucking vocabulary for like dealing with camels. Is like on all stages. The one that just gave birth for 3 months, and the one that
the
like
kid camel,
the male camel,
and the male camel that's like the male camel that's ready to mate or like that's
yeah, and it's like actually if you like there's certain rituals for like killing them at these stages. Like you can't kill a camel that just gave birth. I don't know. There's like weird rituals. Like there's a lot of shit.
Anyways, so what happened was, so camels when they're about to give birth, they're carrying a very fucking large baby. You know what I mean? So if they fall on their side and no one's there to help them back up, they stay on their side and they die. So that's what happened. Is the camel died because there wasn't anyone there to kind of assist and help her and take care of her. So my dad was mad at my little brother, but he was also mad at the fact that he lost not just one camel, but 2 camels.
Yeah, because the baby and the mom died.
And
Damn.
so it was crazy. But at the same time, for me, I was like, you're tripping, bro.
It's just a camel, bro.
Yeah.
That's too bad, bro. That's like almost $1 million. Come on.
Yeah, no, that's like, it's money for sure. And so, so I was there and I spent 20 days in badia, is what we call it in Somali.
Badia, badia. That's an Arabic word. It's like the desert.
Yeah.
So, badia.
Yeah.
You know, like Bedu are people who live in the desert.
Yeah.
Bedouins. That's people who live in the desert. Yeah.
So that's what we call it, the badia as well.
So you live in the village, but you go to the badia.
No, my family lives in the badia.
You did.
But my dad owns like a kind of like a shack.
So they like move around in the
badia? They move their.
I would fucking love to go there, man. Like the
we're talking business. We're gonna go.
We gotta go,
right?
Bro, like the amount of legends that like we hear about the people of the badia, like there's not that many modern ones. I don't know, like does your dad have like a car or like a Hilux or anything?
No.
It's just pure camels.
It's just pure camels.
So like he's like proper traditional, but because like we have Bedu in Sudan and Saudi, but like they're kind of like very modern Bedu. So like it would be like
have
Yeah, they have cell phones. They're like be in their cars, and camels would be like in their fucking thing. So it's like half. It's like not the real shit. So like what you're describing, like that's the real old school.
That's some
shit.
real old school shit.
OG.
So I was there.
I
I just, that's why I was talking about literacy, because like my dad.
They can't read or write.
They can't read or write, and my dad has like my dad has 2 sons.
But they're smart.
Yeah, they're smart for their environment. They have to be able to be smart to survive in that harsh environment. You know what I mean?
They have the unique wisdom people in the desert.
But I just saw like my younger sisters, my brother, like all of my siblings besides the one that lives in the United States with me that I haven't seen in 23 years. And they all have kids, man. They all have like 5 kids.
Somali.
All these kids love me, and they were just coming up to me. Like, of course, I brought candy, obviously. So that was the way in. But after that, the bribe. They were like, Abdi, uncle, like. And like I just like my heart, and I work with kids in the U.S. and so like I really value children. I think children are important. And how
but you should have gotten yourself a wife from there, man.
Hell no.
Those Bedouin girls, bro.
Bro,
come on, man. I'm pretty sure your dad tried. I'm very sure your dad tried.
I had multiple marriage proposals. I'm like, you have no idea how broke I am. Let's keep it at that. But I was just sad because I like saw myself in that because I spent the first 6 years of my life
there
in that place, and the same, and it was funny because like the place that they were camping at, my dad was like, yeah, we used to camp here when you were little, and so I was just like, and I was like, what I need to do something to make sure that like at least I can't bring every one of them to the U.S. But I can give them an edge in their own environment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I can help them move, Cause
bring it back home, Like don't fucking ship them all. Bring the good shit back home, Build your own people. Yeah, that's not sound.
And so that really just like blew my mind. And like I slept outside every night. I ate with them every night, you know what I mean? They slaughtered a goat every night. Felt pretty honored.
Oh, but that's a very great sign. Like it's considered like the kings when they come, like they would slaughter camels every day, but like slaughtering a goat is like pretty up there too. It's like it's still like oh man, like when you have a great guest over, like that's one of the greatest signs that like they're honoring you is if they're slaughtering something for you every day.
They're literally going, like that's their money,
Yeah, and it's like throwing cash in the air for them. Making it rain. Bedouin style.
Yeah. And so I was there, man, and like the beautiful thing was just like how beautiful it was there. It was during so there's 2 seasons, and probably in Sudan too. Like it's the wet season and the dry season.
Yeah, Sudan is like pretty dry all the year. Like Somalia, you guys are still in the equator. Like in Sudan, there's no fucking equator. It's like desert all year round. Like there's cold desert and there's hot desert. That's pretty much it. There's no wet desert.
Yeah. So we have the wet season.
Okay.
And so I was there, and that's the most beautiful time. Like everything's green. It's like the time where all the animals are kind of giving birth. You know what I mean? It's a good time, and like it's like kind of a time of plenty in a sense. Dry season is a little harsher. Like,
it's when you're saving.
When you're holding on. To
surviving. Making it.
So it was beautiful. I slept outside every night. I went and herded the camels with my little brother.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the way of the prophets, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great honor.
Yeah, no, it was it was beautiful. I slept under the stars every night, and living in the U.S. and living in cities. You don't see the formats.
Like you're like, what? All these?
Yeah, like I was just like I literally saw the Milky Way every night, and I was just like, I only see that on Nature
documentaries. National Geographic. Geographic and all that stuff.
So it was so beautiful, and it was just like it was also like it's beautiful and like really ugly at the same time because it's like. I'm looking at these kids that like are wearing, they're
nothing.
They have nothing, but they don't know that they have nothing because.
But that's the thing. Like poverty is relative. It's like
I
remember when I did this bit yesterday, but like I remember when I came from the UK to Sudan. Thanks for listening. You can also watch the full podcast here. You can also listen to the audio-only versions on all of these platforms. Thanks for listening and see you next time.